Hello friends. Just I want to introduce like we are learning Java.lang package and other important topics like OOPS collection. Parallelly, I wanted to start collections also because collection is very important with respect to interview and whatever we learned in core Java. So the enhanced knowledge can be understood from the collections itself. So bit of array, encapsulation, inheritance. So everything, all the flavors you'll find out in the collections. What is multi-threading? What is the blocking of the thread? What synchronization happens? Everything. So let us start with collection. Okay. So the very first is why collection is required. Okay. Why collections? So we can store the number of elements. Okay, we can represent basically number of elements in the collections. Then quickly it comes in our mind like array is also used for the same purpose. So to start with collections, before that let us understand what an array can do. So if you want to make a note on array, you can understand that an array is an indexed collection of fixed number of homogeneous elements. Okay, homogeneous data element means same type. Like if you have created an array of int type, it can store only int data type variables like 10, 20, 30 like that. If you have created a string, and it can store only string. So what is this homogeneous data elements? Another point is for an array, what we can understand is an array represents a group of element of same data type. Same thing. An array is an index collection of fixed number of homogeneous data elements, or an array represents a group of elements of same data type. Okay, so if you want to store students, number of students, you can definitely store in an array of students. But at the same time, you cannot store teachers on that. You cannot store department on that. You cannot store colleges on that. Oh my God! So what blunder is happening with an array? Array is definitely very good. Okay, so if you know the size and the type in advance, you can definitely go for an array. The main advantages of array is the huge number of elements by using a single variable name can be represented, and hence the readability of the code will be increased. Huge number of data elements, huge number of data can be stored of homogeneous type in a single variable, okay, and can be represented. So then you can think of object array or object array. So root array hai bhai. So we can store everything in the object array. So uh, then definitely you'll think the collection is not required. Then what the collection is doing in the Java? So let us learn about the limitations of an object array. Okay. So I'll just note down the limitations of an object array, and you can definitely go through each and every point. Arrays are fixed in size. That is, once we created the array, there is no chance of increasing and decreasing the size based on our requirement. Hence the use of array concept. Compulsory we should know the size in advance, which may not be possible all the time in a real-time project. In a real-time project, you cannot know, right? Whenever you're going to open a college for engineering, you don't know how many students will come into that college. You can start with 100, then you can start 10 departments and 100 in each department. Now 1000, you will not know, right? So if you know the size in advance, you can definitely go for an array. And if the elements are homogeneous, that is very much not possible all the time. That is the limitations of an object array. Array, this is the super array, okay? And this also has limitations. It means any other array of child type definitely has problem. Always array can hold only homogeneous data elements, which I have already told. Okay, so let us see some example. Okay, and the example is like I'll bring the code here. Students S, new student 10,000. S dot 0 is equal to new student valid. S dot 1 is equal to new customer invalid. It is incompatible type. That is what I am trying to say. In student, you cannot add customer, you cannot add teacher, you cannot add vehicle, you cannot add anything. Okay, so you can only add the student type only, and that too only 10,000 elements. If you added 100 students, rest 9,900 will be wasted. The size will be wasted, and you'll get error. Let us understand another one. That is what I was trying to say here. So another one is object type, and then again 10,000. You store new student and you store new customer in one position. This is definitely valid. But what about other 9,998 locations? These many locations will be wasted. Okay, and wastage of memory, it's very costly. You don't know. Once you go into the project, a real-time project, when you start managing the project, you will know the cost of the memory for 1 TB. right? Right now we are getting 1 TB in 3000, 4000 words which we store, but in real time data for 1 TB it costs around 10 lakhs. You can't believe those things. An array concept, okay? So let us understand, but we can resolve this problem by using the array of object type, but we had limitations, okay? Array concept is not implemented based on some data structure, okay? What is the meaning of this? Array concept is not implemented based on some data structure. Hence, ready-made method support we cannot expect. Okay, ready-made methods. Okay, we cannot expect. For every requirement, we have to write the code explicitly. Explicitly का मतलब होता है purposefully, और we have to write it. We don't have it. मतलब कि जो हमारे पास नहीं है वो हमको लिखना पड़ेगा, एक्सप्लिसिटली लिखना पड़ेगा. एक्सप्लिसिटली मतलब कि अपने को पूरी ताकत और दिमाग लगा के लिखना पड़ेगा उसका कोड. एरर concept is not implemented based on any data structure. Data structure you know right how good it is. If you know data structure, you can write any type of code. You can minimize the execution or complexity of the code. Okay. So we don't have any ready-made methods for array. We have to implement it and we have to write it. So okay. So to overcome the above limitations, we should go for collection concept. Okay, दोस्तों, we have to go for collection concepts. Fine. Now let us understand whatever we have read for array. Opposite of that, collections are growable in nature. Growable means अपने आप बढ़ता घटता रहेगा उसका साइज बेस्ड ऑन द यूसेज. एरे तो फिक्स था भाई, 1000 बना दिया, 10,000 साइज का बना दिया तो 9,998 पोजीशंस गोइंग टू वेस्ट. बट यहाँ पे ग्रोएबल नेचर है, मतलब जब जरूरत पड़ा बढ़ जाएगा, डेटा कम हो गया तो घट जाएगा. ओके, बेस्ड ऑन आवर रिक्वायरमेंट वी कैन इंक्रीज और डिक्रीज द साइज. हेंस मेमोरी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू कलेक्शन कॉन्सेप्ट इज रिकमेंडेड. ओके, और दूसरा पॉइंट हम लोग सोच सकते हैं कि क्या और बेनिफिट क्या होने वाला है. ओके, सेम थिंग कॉपी हो गया, सॉरी. Collections can hold both homogeneous and heterogeneous objects. अभी हम लोग एग्जांपल देखेंगे. Collections can hold both homogeneous and heterogeneous objects. This is a big difference which we are learning, okay, between array and collections. You can note down. Collections can hold both homogeneous and heterogeneous objects. Okay. Every collection class is implemented based on some standard data structure. That is what I was trying to say. कि arrays concept is not implemented based on any some data structure. Hence, ready-made method. Okay, this is very important point. Ready-made method support is not there for our requirement. We have to write it explicitly. Every collection class is implemented based on some data standard structure. Okay, hence for every requirement, ready-made method support is there. Okay, and being a programmer, we don't have to write it. We have to use it. Okay, without writing the functionality on our own. Understood? So array can hold both primitive and object type. This is one of the point, like array can hold both primitive and object type, but collection can hold only object type, not primitive type. Okay, so another point we can see here, collection can hold, okay, only object but not primitive type, not primitive type. So collection, if you want to represent a group of object in a single entity, then we should go for collection. If you want to represent group of object in a single entity, then we should go for collection. Okay, same thing, but if we want to represent a group of homogeneous data element into a single entity, then we should go for array. But group of object, we should go for collection. Collection framework is defined several classes and interfaces to represent a group of object. There are 9 collections, important classes and interfaces. We have 9 key interfaces. One is collection, another one is list, set, sorted set, navigable set, queue, map, sorted map, and navigable map. These are the 9 key collections. So what I'm going to say is we'll learn one by one. This was just a heads up on collections. Since we are learning, हम लोग अभी Java.lang पैकेज में इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स पढ़ रहे हैं, लाइक कैसे हम लोग ऑब्जेक्ट क्लास के मेथड्स को यूज कर सकते हैं, उसका क्या यूसेज है इंटरव्यू पर्सपेक्टिव से. एंड हम लोग अभी Java.lang पैकेज में स्ट्रिंग क्लास भी पढ़ रहे थे, हमारे अदर वीडियो है, ठीक है. फिर हमने कुछ ओप्स कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़े हैं, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोग्रामिंग लॉजिक सीखे हैं, स्टार में कुछ तो है, आप देख सकते हैं मेरे वीडियोस, ठीक है. अगर आपने अभी तक सब्सक्राइब और शेयर नहीं किया है और लाइक नहीं किया है तो आप कर सकते हैं, अन्य तो आपकी मर्जी, हम फोर्स तो नहीं कर सकते आपको लाइक करने के लिए, लेकिन मेरा वीडियो देख के आप कुछ सीख सकते हैं। इफ यू रिक्वायर मोर डीप नॉलेज ऑन दिस, यू कैन पिंग मी। ओके, thank you, thank you very much. We'll continue with this collections hereafter, but we'll not miss our the basics, very basics, because those basics are required to learn the collections. So I'm just given heads of what is collection, and definitely this why collection is required. This is also an interview questions. If we had array, why collection is required? So you know that array can hold homogeneous primitive type and object type, but it is fixed in size, and it cannot store heterogeneous data. Lot of other things. So memory constraint is not there. Okay, we have to know the size in advance if you want to use array. And ready-made method support is not there. The very important point. If you are a developer, you cannot write the code all the time, right? So use collections and use the ready-made method available in the collection, so that your programming will be very faster. Definitely, people will use whenever you go for interview. Interviewer will ask you like how to build a logic, and he will ask you to write a logic, because he wants to check you like how much you can write it, how much you can think of, how much you are capable of writing the new codes. So thank you guys, and okay, thank you.